Jonathan Watt with Atara Group International. We hope you are enjoying our content, and if you are, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel. We're doing a mini church series on various aspects of church history and tradition, and want to talk today about an interesting little topic on how Advent calendars became such a popular tradition. You know, every December, homes across the world come alive with a beloved ritual, the opening of the Advent calendar. Whether it's filled with scripture verses, chocolates, tiny toys, candles, even digital reflections on the season, the Advent calendar has become an iconic symbol of anticipation. It builds wonder and excitement as Christmas approaches, but its history is far deeper than many people realize. The Advent calendar we know today is the product of a couple of centuries of Christian tradition, cultural creativity, and the human desire to mark time in meaningful ways. To understand why Advent calendars were created and how they became a global phenomenon, we must return to the origins of Advent itself. The season is involved with waiting. It has historic roots. Advent did not originate as a countdown to Christmas morning. Early Christian communities way back in the 4th and 5th centuries were observing it as a season of preparation for Epiphany, not Christmas. It was a time characterized by fasting, prayer, time for reflection, similar in spirit to the season of Lent that many observe as well. Over time, Christmas grew in liturgical importance, and by the Middle Ages, Advent became a 4-week period of expectation, now focusing specifically on Christ's birth. But well into the 19th century, even, Advent was still primarily observed in churches, homes, and monasteries, predominantly through prayer, scripture readings, and also the lighting of candles. The first Advent calendars seems to have been a German family practice. In the early 1800s, German Protestant families began developing creative ways to help their children count the days until Christmas. And these simple practices were the earliest forms of Advent calendars. They used sometimes chalk marks on the wall, one drawn for each day of the season. Sometimes 24 candles were lit nightly. Small Bible verses or sayings were hung on a tree. Or how about this? A line of straw was added daily to a manger scene. And these domestic rituals serve to teach children the meaning of Advent. The first printed Advent calendar is credited to Gerhard Lang, whose mother created a homemade calendar with sweets. And inspired by that, Lang designed cardboard calendars with pictures that were revealed one each day, later adding the now familiar doors of the calendar, as you may be familiar with. Now, how did the spread of the tradition take place out of Germany? Well, during World War I and during World War II, German printing companies faced shortages that slowed the production of Advent calendars, but after the wars, the tradition would resurge, and immigrants would bring the custom abroad, and even U.S. soldiers who were stationed in Germany for these wars mailed calendars home, helping to spread the practice. Now, a key turning point came when the company known as Richard Selmer Verlag resumed production in 1946, right after World War II, and their colorful artwork captivated hearts internationally. It was like a tradition reinvented. And eventually others started to bring in things like chocolate and toys and other forms of creativity. By the 1950s, chocolate manufacturers began producing Advent calendars, transforming tradition into a sweet daily ritual. And modern calendars today are of all sorts. So there's tea and coffee varieties. We've got some examples in the links below. You can see those there. Books and devotionals circulating around the event. Even beauty products. We've got links to things like that and to jewelry. You'll find that if you want to just see what else is out there. Even toys, Lego sets that are centered around the Advent season are available. You can find those again in the links provided below, alongside things like gourmet treats, links for those, and even beer, wine, and other spirits are sometimes labeled to remember the season. You can see the links in our information below. So, acts of kindness and prompts at family devotions. This is also some of what has been put out, as you can find there. There's a sacred purpose here more than a countdown, and certainly more than any particular products, despite creative variations. Advent calendars endure because they reflect specifically the spiritual idea of a slow unfolding of joy. And they teach the value of daily anticipation and intentional practice and marking time with meaning. The small ritual of opening a little door each day becomes a reminder that hope arrives gradually but faithfully. So, if you want some resources for going deeper on this subject, you can get a hold of, for example, Come Let's Adore Him, a daily Advent devotional produced by Paul David Tripp. It's a gospel-centered, day-to-day devotional for Advent that helps refocus attention on the coming of Christ. It's ideal for individuals, families, small groups. You'll find the link listed below in the information there. You'll also find things like Watch for the Light, readings for Advent and Christmas, edited by Charles Moore. And then there you're going to see a classic anthology that features writers like C.S. Lewis and Dietrich Bonhoeffer and Henri Nouwen and others. It offers daily essays from late November all the way up through Epiphany, all of them exploring Advent's meaning in deep, thoughtful, and historical theological ways. A gentle word here from Atara Group International. We help Christians embrace spiritual traditions more deeply. And if your church or small group would benefit from, for example, an Advent workshop or a church seasons of teaching series, if you would like us to do a Bible study on waiting and hope, for example, very fitting for the season, on the historical and theological purposes, we have seminars devoted to that. You can learn more and inquire about booking at our website at ataragroupinternational.org.